Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brushworks channel. Today I'm going to show you something pretty cool we did. So we created this app that allows us to track our equipment. And we were kind of doing all of this in spreadsheets before. And some of the important stuff that you need to know on your equipment is your cost per hour, any maintenance records, service records, all of that stuff. You need to be able to track all of those machines and visualize it. And we looked around and we couldn't find anything out there. So I just went ahead and built it and kind of open it up to everybody to be able to use it for their stuff. So we're going to walk through it real quick and I'll show you how it works and what it looks like. So here we've got the FieldFix.ai homepage. So this is you just go to FieldFix.ai, it takes you to this page. And you can manage your fleet and fix problems faster. So this is pretty cool. It uses, we uploaded a bunch of service manuals and stuff for different pieces of equipment and different attachments, and we trained AI on all of this stuff. So you'll be able to diagnose issues really, really quickly, and I'll show you that as we get into the dashboard. It's free to start, so you can run 3 machines or attachments and log all the information and all that. There's nothing limiting anybody. But yeah, we've just kind of created all this. Got fleet tracking, machine notes, service history, machine profitability, and then you can see, fleet owners, operators, service techs, rental companies would all need something like this. Here's your free plan, and then it's only $19 a month to do up to 10 machines, and then unlimited machines is $49 per month. And I will show you the dashboard. So this is your main dashboard. And on here, this is where you can add your machine. So you add your make, model, year, serial number, hours. You can kind of keep an hours log in here. So as you use the equipment, you just kind of log your new hours, your last service date, and the last the hours at the last service. Upload your machine photos, and then here you've got different tags. So you can do ready for diagnostics, needs service, critical issue, under repair. So just different tags that you would need to tag pieces of equipment for high hours, low hours, and then you got your financial tags. And then filling that out, we'll put it into something like this. And you can see, we've got the warranty active on the new RCU machine. We've actually got 3 machines with warranties active. And then we've all got 2 of them under repair, and you can see that here. So that's both of these are at Bobcat being repaired. They both have an issue. Here we've got the serial numbers, so you can copy the serial numbers super easily, copy and paste them. And the reason we added that is because every single time you talk to service, they will ask you for the serial number. It's kind of weird. You can tell them the machine and the year. They don't care. All they want is that freaking serial number. So we made it easy to copy and paste. Here's your machine hours. You've got a little note that you can put out about it. So this one was our hillside machine. Here you've got your view details, and I'll show you that in a minute. You've got a diagnose tab here and add a note. So you can add a quick note to this machine. You can log a service visit, and then you've got this little quick expense. So if you've got a little expense on this, you can log that really quickly. And I added the date in here because I needed to backlog a bunch of stuff because we had it all in spreadsheets. So I was like, well, people probably need that as well. So I just added that on here. So you can do the date picker and pick the date of the expense. Then you've got the expense categories. So all these different categories are color coded. And then you can put a little note here and log the expense. So let's scroll down here a little bit on the dashboard. We've also got our AI troubleshooting. So you can diagnose a problem. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. And you've got your service centers. This one's kind of a big one because a lot of times you just lose track of who you called for what. And so on our service centers here, we've got the service manager, their address, phone number, email, and then what kind of services they offer. And you can see that on the add service center here. You put in the shop name, manager, email, you put in all this information, and then you've got all these different things that you can tag it with. So if they're OEM, preferred partner, backup, fast turnaround, Emergency calls is a big one. So we've got our main service centers in here. We're going to add some more. We've got some hydraulic companies we need to add. And then we've got here, which shows you our recent diagnostics, and we'll get into that a little bit more. So let's start with the machine details. So I'm going to pull up our 2019 770 here. This one has the most history on it because it's the oldest. So you can see it's under repair. We've got our serial number up there, and it is a finance machine. It loads up to total maintenance spend. This is the sum of like all of our parts and things. It doesn't include the service and the total expenses that we spent on this machine up to this point, and service events that we've logged. And this is our cost per hour. So this is what it costs us to run this machine every hour it's out in the field. So here we've got charts, we've got expenses by month. You can see here in March we had a big service event, pretty expensive, $4,600 service that we had to pay for. This cost per hour trend is pretty cool. So it's bad. You can see the cost per hour is rising pretty steadily on this machine, which is not good. So we need to see what we can do to try and reverse that. Maybe we need to get it in for another service and get everything fixed up so we can start reversing this trend a little bit. Also, if it just continues to rise, it kind of tells us, hey, it's time to sell this machine and get rid of it because its cost per hour is just rising too high. And then we've just got this little pie chart here for our expense category distribution. So also on this page, you're going to see this is the expenses tab. So this, you can also log your expenses right here, select the category, and then you've got your expenses, and they're all color coded as well, so you can kind of see all the money you've spent for this particular machine. And then we've got the notes here. I haven't logged notes because we just built this. We had notes before, but we didn't like log them onto a sheet. So as we need to add notes to this machine, we will. And I'll just kind of show you what that looks like. So let's say this machine is currently in service with Bobcat. ETA on arrival is 1 week to get it back to the shop. And we can just save this note. We can add attachments to this as well. So if, you know, maybe you've got an operator that ran it into a tree and it caused some damage, you can take that note and take a picture of that damage. So we can save the note here, and it logs it right here, where you can edit it or delete it, whatever you want to do. And then we've also got our service log. So this is where you can log all your service, which service center that you took it to, an independent shop if it's not one in your service center, and then your cost trackings of what you spent, and the machine hours at the time of service, and then you can add any notes you want on here. So this one, we've got some service events. You can see Bobcat Enterprise, we had to put a new starter in. It was $1,123. Bobcat blew up the starter somehow. That's true. The starter was working when it went in. I don't know what happened, but we had to pay for it to be replaced. So yeah, just interesting. So let's say we wanted to diagnose an issue with this machine. We can click on Diagnose Issue. It's going to take us to this page. It's going to, it automatically selected this machine. We can give it visual context. So let's say we had a picture of a broken coupling, something like that. We could take a picture of that and add it in. I don't have any on this computer right now, so I'm not going to upload one, but the AI will look at the image and help determine what the issue is. In many cases, it can pull up the part number for it, and everything just off of the image. So the image, giving it visual context, adds to the accuracy of the result that you get. But we can also here just describe the problem. So let's say the machine is pouring out black smoke on startup. After the machine warms up though, the black smoke stops and it seems to run okay. what could the issue be? Okay. We don't have any error codes to put in, but this is another thing that you could put in. You can put in little error codes that come up on the screen, and it will log all that. So let's click on diagnose issue. So this is running it through AI, and it's looking at service manuals, it's looking at the web, it's trying to determine, it's reading basically all this old forums where people would put in their problems with the machine, ask people for help for questions. Well, you don't need to do that anymore. This is going to utilize all of that information, as well as the service manuals and different things to detect what the issue is and give you a score on how confident it is that this is the correct thing. So, issue detected. Engine is running rich on startup, likely due to excessive fuel or incomplete combustion. And if that was your issue, if you're getting black smoke, that's probably what it is. It gives you a confidence score here. It kind of bases the confidence off of how much data there was online or in service manuals about this issue. And then it gives you a little insight in here into the machine that you selected. So you can see our last service on this machine was too long ago. We need to get this thing in and get it serviced. So it gives you root cause analysis. So this is going to rank it in what the most likely issue is with that's causing it. And then here you've got a little recommended fix steps, and you can check off as you go. It just tells you, how to diagnose it. And then it gives you an estimated cost to repair this issue and the estimated amount of time it would take to complete this issue. Now, this is pretty cool too. It also gives you the different tools you might need to solve this issue. And yeah, and then also you can go up here and say ask follow-up questions and say, maybe we want to say, actually, the smoke is white and it's cold outside. Would that make a difference on the diagnosis? And then this is going to use all of the context of what's already been said. And then you can kind of chat with AI here while it diagnoses your issue. You can see it's context aware. It says, okay, white smoke in cold weather does change. It can indicate water vapor, which is normal in cold conditions, but it can also point to coolant in the combustion chamber. Let's refine our troubleshooting path. And you can kind of just interact with it here as you go, and try to diagnose an issue. So pretty cool feature, and it's definitely saved us a lot. And I can actually give you a little bit of a story on one where it was really challenging for us. We actually got the Bobcat mulching head, and we needed to disable the brake because there's this little electric cable that connects into the machine, and it was just constantly breaking because it's just this little small cable and you're running a forestry mulcher, so sticks are constantly hitting that. Well, when that would break, it would lock up the mulching head, and we would just needed, hey, we got to disable this, otherwise this isn't usable for us. And I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, how do we disable this brake on here? We contacted Fecon to see if they could help us. We contacted Bobcat to see if they could help us. And we looked in the service manuals. They wouldn't help us because of, safety stuff. But service manual obviously didn't say anything. We just could not figure it out. And so we had the service manual, and it has the whole diagram of the Fecon head and everything in there. And I plugged this into this AI, and the AI came back and it understood off the diagrams how this machine works and how this brake is activated. And it told us exactly how to disable this brake. So it was pretty amazing, and it worked. So couldn't find that information anywhere. Nobody would help out, but we were able to get it through AI. So just kind of a cool use case for it. Let's go back to the main dashboard. So here you can diagnose the problem. Something else I didn't mention too is you can enter a machine manually. Let's say you're renting a machine. You don't necessarily want to track everything on that machine. You can just enter it manually as well. So you just got to add the make, model, year, all that. Okay. Our service centers, and here you can access your recent diagnostics. So you can see the one here. I've got a funny one on here actually. So I actually did, we got the new RCU machine, and the operator backed it into a tree and bent the bumper. Brand new machine. It also tore the mesh radiator. And just for fun, I was just kind of running it through here. And root cause analysis was impact with obstacle, obvious, right? But improper machine operation. So I had to give the operator a hard time for that one. But yeah, just thought that was pretty cool. So anyways, yeah, I mean, that's FieldFix, and it's definitely made our lives a million times easier on keeping track of these machines. And I don't know, it was such a pain in the butt without it before. We were just putting everything in spreadsheets. When I came back in here and logged all this information, I was going through like 8 different spreadsheets. And on spreadsheets, you don't really have the best like information on there, because you don't want to open it up and open up a Google sheet and type it in. This one is just so much better, so much easier. It gives us a lot more information. It gives us a visual map of what that machine looks like. And actually, I'll show you another machine real quick, since I only did the one. But you can see the other Bobcat's under repair. This cost per hour on this other Bobcat is actually pretty close. We have a lot less information because we've just had this one for a lot less time. We've only got one service event, but our total expenses on this one is getting pretty high. You can see that cost per hour trend on this one. Not quite as steep and dramatic as the other one, but I mean, it does rise. So yeah. But anyways, if you guys wanted to check out this app, go to fieldfix.ai. You can put in your own information. It's definitely been a game changer for us. Like I said, we built it because we needed it, and there was nothing out there that was like it. So if you have any questions about it, just shoot us a comment down there, and make sure you guys give us a like and subscribe on this video. Thanks for watching.